Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. We're so happy to have you. And hello to Dennis O'Connor and Joe Kennedy and Mitzi, and there's somebody else. Andrew, I hope you're listening. I listened to you and what's his name? Richard. Yeah, you kept calling him Dick, and I was like, his name's Richard. But I listened to y'all's program this morning as I was coming in, and I said, oh, it's great. It's Wednesday, and it's the right time. Y'all's at 10 o'clock on Wednesday.
The Audience of One show.
It's called Audience of One. And
it's on podcasts. It's more of a podcast than an actual radio show.
Why? What's the difference?
It's just...
Because it's recorded?
Yeah, and it's just a little bit more fun. Like you don't have to listen that day. You don't have to listen on Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It's a little more fun. And Andrew always has comments to make about our show, but I think it's difficult for some people to know how to comment. Where should they go and type if they're watching on their computer?
Right now, it's what's on Lone Star stuff. So go to Lone Star Community Radio on YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio on Facebook.
And they'll comment underneath where it's playing live?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, every time it's like cross-posted to your page, I don't get notifications for some reason for that.
For YouTube? On YouTube?
Yeah, on any of them. Like anything that has to do, because you can't do all 5 or all 4. Mm-hmm.
So they can comment on Lone Star Community Radio on Facebook. That's their Facebook page. And you can do that and ask questions, because we call this Ask Me Anything. And because I think I know everything, you can ask me anything. And Richard's sure that I don't. And that's why he's standing by with all 3, 4 computers looking so that he can check and fact check anything I say, because he would not ever want to lead any listener astray. So he's there. Now, the other person, the most important person for our radio show, is that we but we want to thank Chris Wootton of the Wootton Financial Group, that is always there, got our back. He's our sponsor, he's our friend, and he also comes and advises us. I want to try and get him on to talk about budgets.
And you can reach him at 936-449-5952 or visit woottonfinancial.com.
That's beautiful. Have you got the camera on you?
No, I have his graphic up to show people that he sponsors the show.
Okay, but put the camera on you. So
I did. I'm on there now.
Okay, all right. Well, I can't see.
You don't need to see.
I can't see.
You need to be the host of the Cindy Cochran Show.
I am, and here I am, and we're going to be talking about dating apps. Oh boy.
We can talk about whatever. It's Ask Me Anything.
Well, yeah, and you can ask me anything as long as it's something we can talk about over the FCC rulings and stuff that they wouldn't get upset about somebody talking about. But see, way back in the day, 73 years ago, this is how we did dating apps. You'd write down on a piece of paper, you'd say, I like you. Do you like me? And then you'd put a little line for yes and a little line for no, so they could check it.
There's a song. Isn't there a country song? Check yes or no?
You check yes.
Well, no.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, because I thought your time period was like you got sold off.
Oh, that was so harsh. That was so harsh.
Well, you know,
No,
it's funny. There's certain religions that still have that.
there probably are.
Well, like I know certain Jewish people, when they get married, I forget what they call it, but basically it's like a insurance from the wife's family side, where basically the guy has to give an amount that if they separate, he pays the wife and the family this much money. And it's like it's before they get married, they have to have this negotiation. I don't know what it's called, but it's wild. But yeah, so you know, it's like you imagine putting these men in this position. Like, how much is your wife worth if you leave?
But wouldn't that have been a good thing for you to have learned way back then? Don't negotiate this. And
Well, yeah, you're supposed to
see.
negotiate with the father-in-law, and like you say, like it's like an insurance thing. I forgot I don't know what they call it, but when I heard that, I was like, it's so funny that people encounter these old traditions, but they're respected. Like it's one of those serious things where this isn't just like a casual. Because like I remember like when I got married, I was thinking the entire time, I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like why couldn't we just go to the courthouse and just
Right.
do this? And
I
And-
agree. The families, the pressure of society that makes you want to have like a big wedding and
Yeah.
spend all that money, and it was stupid.
well, it's unfortunate because a lot of people say if you believe the courthouse thing, like you don't care about your wife,
Oh, that's
you
ridiculous.
know, that kind of thing. And I'm like,
No. You're practical. I mean, it's really a practical
I
thing.
always wanted to meet people who are in common law marriages for like 40 years. Because there's some people I've met that it's like, oh, they almost like tell you it's common law because they feel like they're legally obligated to tell you that.
to tell you.
I don't know why,
Why?
but because labels are always fun. You
But
know?
if you present yourself for is it 6 months? If you've been together 6 months and you have introduced yourself as husband and wife, like if you go to a hotel and you sign the names of, Mr. and Mrs. John Smith.
All right, I kind of want to know. Okay, I'm looking up Texas common law marriage.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be as easy to get out of, but you think it would be.
Yeah, there's not really. The only thing it says, it's all verbal. So like you agree to be married.
Right.
After the agreement, they live together in the state as husband and wife, and they're represented to others that they were married.
Right.
So I'm not really seeing a time period where it's like an automatic thing. So if I just live with a woman for 10 years, but we never say the word marriage or wife or husband, so it doesn't count.
But it's so stupid because then who has any kind of say over who gets what? There's
and
nothing.
I think that's the perception of the individual. Because I can see people being good partners and separating just cut and dry.
well,
You know, it's like what you bought. What your money's your money. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm lucky in mine. I didn't have anything I could give her, so she didn't want anything. So that was
that was
I
good.
set that up perfectly.
That was perfect.
and
It took you just a little longer to try and figure out, is this going to last? But
well,
you got
there's always secrets.
No,
I
you-
never wanted her to know. No.
you jumped right into that marriage, and
But no, but that's what I'm saying. I say the future, like the common law people. I bet some people are just agreeable. Like this just isn't working. I'll see you later.
and
They
I
don't
mean,
need a lawyer to be like, yeah, we got
Right.
to divide up the assets and
I'm
credit
sure
cards and
there's got to be a lot of satisfaction in feeling like you've stuck it to the man, because the whole deal about the going and registering at some place and people buying presents and and all that, and you having to get bridesmaids and grooms, all that. It's such a, not a racket, but it's such a business thing. So you feel
well,
like,
I almost want to say it's for younger people.
much younger people, yeah.
Because I wonder what happens for older people. Like I told you, there was I visited my grandmother last weekend.
Yes.
And she calls me and she warns me. She's like, "Hey, it's gonna be hard to find a parking spot." She lives in a retirement home that's in it's like a tower. I don't know.
It's a high rise,
It's
yeah.
a high rise. But there's different floors for different things. Like they have, what do you call it? Like basically hospice care, and then they have all. She lives on the residential side, or the level.
Oh, and so when you get
she
really
has her own.
bad-
She has her own apartment. She
Then they
she
move.
takes care of herself. But she's like, yeah, someone's getting married today. they met at the place, and they're 90 and 92.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And so they had a party there. And I was like, it got me thinking about what today's talk, like kind of talk about labels. And it's like, so they just decided to get married and just had a party, and they invited the whole building. And
that's so cool.
But like I said, I think older people kind of like, they look at it going, we don't really need to do that. We can just go to the courthouse and like invite our friends if they want to come, and if they don't, then we'll have a party.
Or we'll go to the courthouse.
Well, that's what I wanted to do.
Invite the preacher over. What?
That's what I wanted to do.
To do what?
I wanted to get married at my grandparents' house.
Now that would have been
because my mother and father were married there, and it's a sizable house, and it's beautiful, and it's in Tanglewood in Houston, so it was like a nice house.
Yeah,
they built that house to be a hosting house because they used to do a lot of stuff with the Houston Symphony and the Houston Opera.
Right.
They're very big arts people, and so they'd always, they had a big grand piano, and so that people from the symphony would come play and fundraise and all that kind of stuff. So it was built to host, 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, why don't we just do it here? We could save so much money. And
that's I did not want to do anything big. I told my parents, I said, don't worry about having to pay anything for it because I don't want any of that stuff. I just want Carolyn and Charles, her husband, is a preacher, and I just want us to go to dinner. We're sitting around the table, and Charles says, "Hey, Sam, would you want to take Cindy as your wife?" And I'll go,
yeah. Or you could just
and that's
do the
gonna be
Texas
it.
common law and just say you're married already.
No, I wanted it to be in the eyes of the state legal. I know in the eyes of God it'd be legal, but to make those kind of commitments because it just gets too big and too much money, and it's all for one night, and then it just I thought those were ridiculous.
Well, I think it just depends on the individual. Unfortunately for me, I got shot down every suggestion, and then it was like it's
the suggestions.
Happy wife, happy life. That's basically what everyone kind of told me. I was like, well, I don't really believe that, but
do you
whatever.
still believe that?
I didn't believe it at the time. I still don't. I never believed that. I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Yeah, Sam got mad at me this morning because those big trash cans, the really big.
The ones you forget that are in your car?
No, those weren't as big as
Okay.
these are. These are the kind that are huge looking, and they have this big flap on the
Yeah, I know
top
what you're
of
talking
them.
about.
Okay, so I made him. It took me, how many years we've been there? 18 years. It took me that long to get him to get a second one because we create so much trash.
Yeah, because you drink
ridiculous.
You drink canned Coke, and you admitted that you drink like 6 of them a day, and you're not the only one drinking them.
Yeah.
So you almost can make your beer money if you just recycle those cans.
They're not recyclable.
The cans aren't?
No. You can't. They used to take cans.
They still
They're
take
still
cans.
doing that?
Yeah, you just have to crush. You got to crush them.
Yeah, that's what we crushed them so we have more room
Yeah.
to put more cans in it. But okay, here's the deal. So we have 2 of them, and we put them in it's not a garage, it's an overhang thing. And so Samantha had trouble maneuvering the car out because these 2 big cans were there and kind of messed up the car. So I took one of the cans and put it on the front porch by the door because that way, I'm right there at the kitchen and I can put stuff in there and I don't have to have the smell of one of those big cans in the house. And he saw that and he said, listen, you're not going to put a can in my house in the front porch. And that was the wrong statement to make. Your house. This is your house. So anyway, it caused.
No, I love the possessive words. It's like
you never use that with a woman. Never. He said, "Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm going to take care of everything, and I want to make it look nice. And I go to a lot of trouble to make things look nice. And you put this huge garbage can in the front porch. It's not going to go." So he said he was taking around the side, and I was fuming. He comes, "Are you mad because I wouldn't leave the garbage can? Is that what you're mad about? You're mad about?" I said, "No, it's because you said it was your house." And he goes, "Well,
it is.
no."
Sorry. Check the deed.
He had all the boxes to check off why he he could say it was his house, but it didn't go over well. It was terrible. So a lot of times you don't
I'm on
agree.
his side. I'm on his side.
You are, of course you
Of course
are.
I am.
Of course you are. It's
Sam
just
is always right.
Yeah. Well, let's see. He has the gold, so he makes the rules. What is it?
Those who have the gold make the rules.
Yeah, it's not the golden rule, but it's the rules. Yes, and so he gets to make the rules. That's how he feels about it, and it's like, what do I do here? Do I do nothing? You don't consider anything that I do is anything that's important. That's how he makes me feel when he talks to me like that.
Well, you
and
need
he
to
knows.
you need to build some stronger character. Cindy.
Huh?
It's not
What?
too late to build better character. Well,
no.
that stuff roll right off of you, and don't think of it that way.
Usually I don't. It just hit me wrong. And usually I can laugh it off or say something funny when he does that. But it wouldn't work today. Today was just like, don't mess with me. But anyway, so regardless of how long you've been married, things like that will come up, and you do have to. It's just going to take me a while, because as soon as I get home, I've forgotten. That's what's great about, dementia that's coming on. What's it called?
I don't know, slow dementia?
No,
Snail dementia?
It's like it's coming. Onset of dementia. I'll forget.
You think you have that?
Well, I've had it since 20. If I do,
Yeah.
because I forget
Well,
stuff.
see, that's
easy.
it's dementia, or those kind of diagnoses are always interesting to me, because it's kind of like the cancer thing. So you don't know you have cancer until something happens, and you go like, "Oh, you have cancer. You've had it for like 3 years," and you're like, "What?" Or you've had dementia for XYZ years, and then you think to yourself, "So all those things that I didn't remember, it was because of a disease, not because I'm just forgetful."
I am forgetful, and
Well, you're busy. I mean, think about.
I got a lot of things to think about, and try and think that's going on all the time. But I think that it's going to be interesting. The older I get, I don't know when I'm going to figure out. Okay, maybe if I don't know your name or I don't know who you are, we're sitting here and I look at you and go like,
"Hey, dude,
who is that guy?"
Call everyone dude.
Yeah,
That's what. That's one of my biggest fears. Is it's when that switch gets turned off.
Mm-hmm.
I always imagine how your brain functions is like if you're a happy person, or you're happy at that moment, and
Mm-hmm.
the light bulb goes off, then you're always happy. But if
Yeah.
you're like if you're angry at the time and the light bulb, so you're just gonna just be angry all the time. So I'm like, all right, I always got to be happy. So if I get in an accident, I have amnesia or something, I'm a happy
Right.
person. Got to be happy just in
Yes.
case something happens.
because I want to stay happy. I want to stay happy. Yeah, that's what I told Sam when he went through his struggle of feeling like this was it. Every day he knew this was his last day, and all that. He got so much. He was so sweet and so
No, he's
so
not.
compassionate.
Now he's just
and,
a dirtbag.
No, now he's coming out of it, and he's going back to. I thought, oh goodness, this is so great, because he's in this great mood all the time, and he's so sorry that he's this way, and he's so sorry, like, I'm so sorry I'm this way, and guys
Yeah.
don't never say I'm sorry.
I do all the time.
You do?
Yeah, I pretty much just wear a shirt.
This says I'm sorry.
I'm just sorry.
Yeah, get it tattooed right across
And
your
on the
head.
back it says "Get over it."
That
Well,
would
that's
be
one
good.
thing I always love is like when you have arguments with people, especially significant others, and you apologize, and like sorry's not good enough. And when someone tells me that, I'm like, man, then why are we even talking right now? Like,
I know, but in the heat-
if that's the wall you build, then
No, but
I'm gonna
in-
forget it. I'm not even gonna attempt anymore. We're done. The conversation's over.
In the heat of an argument, though, and you just said, "You make me so mad. I can't believe how mad you made me. I'm just enraged." And he goes, "Well, I'm so sorry." And then you're supposed to shut it all down and go "Oh, okay, that's just all I was looking for, was that."
Yeah.
that you're sorry. That you have. It takes you a
don't-
while
you
to
don't
get.
have to shut it down, but you change the course of the conversation. You go, okay, so he's hearing me, he apologizes, and then you just say, hey, that lets me feel this way. Please remember in the future, please consider this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sorry is supposed to kind of build the bridge between that.
Right.
So-
I mean, you should be able to take a sorry when it comes. But
Well, what weirds me out is when someone tells me that, it's like, so do you even understand what apologies are at its core? Does that mean like every apology you've ever gotten, like you don't believe it? You know, if it's not convenient for you, it's like, no, I don't want, I'm not accepting your apology. I'm like,
Yeah. You have to.
unless you tell them,
accept it.
I'm not accepting your apology. You're a dirtbag.
Yeah.
See that? I mean, it's all about communication.
Yeah, because if you said that, they probably would call you something bad and walk off. But if you understand, it's going to take a while to calm down from getting that riled up. That you can't just say like, cut it off. Like, okay, that's all I need to know is that you're sorry.
The real question to you now after this debacle,
Yes,
with the trash can, are you going to put the trash can where he asked you to put it?
it's already gone back there.
No, I'm asking you, like in the future.
In the future,
In
am
the
I going to
future,
put it
'cause
back?
I don't
where
think
he said?
Sam's dealing with this trash can. It's not in his orbit. You're the one that's actually using it.
Yes.
So are you just going to be like forgetful and just put it back where you liked it and then deal with this whole conversation again? Or are you going to be like, I need to put it on the side?
No, I'm not going to put it out on the front porch.
Why? Why is that?
Because God said you're supposed to obey your husband.
Oh gosh, the God stuff. Yeah, whoever wrote the Bible had like great intentions of getting out of trouble.
No, it's
Especially when it comes to women. There's so many rules where it's like,
Oh,
oh yeah,
he'll-
the woman's always wrong, guys. Let's
No,
write a
he-
book about it.
no.
So that
he
way
brings
they have to.
he brings that scripture up all
Oh,
the time.
I love it.
And I say yes, but let's read on. And you're supposed to treat your wife like you put her on a pedestal, kind of thing. That's how you're supposed to treat your wife, by putting her on a pedestal. Do you believe that?
No,
Why not?
I believe you treat your wife as your partner. Why would you put anyone above yourself? You got to take care of yourself first to achieve the goal of helping others.
You feel like it's a 50-50 deal, and that's just
Well, like I'm talking about just yourself. Like if you can't love yourself first, how are you capable of loving other people?
No, that is so true, because
So
there are
to
a
me,
lot of
that's
people.
equal, right? That's not, oh, I can love myself, so I'm going to love you more now. No, like I'm first. What's wrong with being first? That's not a negative thing to,
It's not. No, it's not negative.
and
It's,
especially see someone as equal. I think that's probably one of the strongest bonds you can have with somebody.
well, it would
Kind of like
be
the golden rule.
It would be, but the head of the household is supposed to be
But that's if it's agreed upon.
the man.
Like if you're telling me you got to act this certain way because of some other outside thing telling us, I'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, screw you.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, because
by-
you're basing it off the Bible,
Right.
Not based off y'all's communication. So it's like
Right.
no matter what, I got to be on a pedestal because this book told us. And I'd be like, whoa, that means you can do anything after that. Like, oh, I read this book, that means you could do this. Oh, I read this book, so that means I can do this. I can get away with this.
No, but I mean, it's like it makes sense.
Well, it's because it's convenient.
No, it makes sense if there's a head of a household, and he's making decisions that is all based on his love for you and your family.
I mean, again, if that's agreed upon.
If it's agreed upon,
Yeah.
that's true. But he should always.
But
listen.
I'm never going to accept it if someone tells me, oh, it's written right here, so you got to do it. I'm like, what? Like, what? No.
But see, you're such a good guy. You would want the best for your wife, and you would want her to be happy, and so you would do things
Well, I did some
to make her
stupid things
happy.
to make her happy.
You did some stupid things to make her happy.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I'm not going to talk about it right here.
Why not?
'Cause
It's radio. This is good radio to talk about.
I mean, probably the most stupid thing I did was when she wanted to leave, I just did everything for her.
to help it make it easier.
Yeah, like I did all the paperwork, I did everything. I'm like, why am I doing this? I was
No,
with
that
like
is a good point.
yeah, and I went to court, and I'm like, why am I here? I don't want to be here.
You didn't want the divorce in the
Yeah,
first place.
I was like, what is this? But then again, I'm like, that's what she wants. That's what she's gonna get because I put her on a pedestal.
no, I think she. I think she
didn't.
jumped off of that pedestal.
No,
a
I'm
while
not
ago.
worried about that. But again, like you do stupid stuff for people because you care about them, and that's okay. Like that's who you're. I believe that's who I am, and that's why I decided. That's why I put
Yeah.
up with it.
So-
and now I'm dealing with it. So
No.
it's like you just deal with it.
But you don't have anything to be sorry for though, because you did the best you could, and you were doing it for her and out of love for her. So you did good, and so God would be happy and proud of you for that. He's not going to be mad at you
I don't need
because you
someone's
did something
approval.
stupid. You don't need God's
I don't
approval.
need anyone's approval.
Oh, he didn't mean.
Yeah, I know I'm right. I'm
am.
always good. I'm pure. I'm the young one. You know.
I'm moving over here because you're gonna strike him. It's gonna be him.
But no, I think you face these scenarios that are difficult, and you hope you're right. But I also learned a lot so far in my life. That,
Yes, you have.
especially when it comes to relationships, because I've seen my brothers and sisters go through relationships, and it's tough. And I'm like, you know what? I'm always looking at the long game, the long con. And I'm like, okay, this is probably best for this because I don't want to be dealing with this.
Well, it's hard when somebody loses someone, and that's what you feel like. It's like a death, and then you have to go through that process, and it's terrible because you feel so bad for that person. I'd like to take Richard and put him in a time machine to go, like 2 or 3 years down the road, so he doesn't have to feel this feeling.
No,
that
I
you
wouldn't.
feel.
I wouldn't tell myself not to do it.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay. Well, I was just.
I had fun.
For the
Yeah.
For the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I was like, yeah, we're both better off. It sucks,
yeah.
but I have to believe what I say. I'm having a hard time believing myself sometimes, but
Well, sure. Well, sure. Believe me, I understand that. But this is a great transition into what we're supposed to be talking about today is dating apps.
yeah, we talked about it on Audience of One, and I wanted to ask you because you're older than I am.
Very good.
And it's always interesting seeing how society forces human beings to basically procreate and then also, manage that,
Yeah. Right.
like dating or marriage or whatever.
And your question is?
And like because you met Sam just off chance at a deal, and then it was 6 months later you're married.
No.
Like you never did you? Yeah,
It's 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Did you ever try anything like blind dates before that or anything like that?
Blind dates?
Because blind dates were always kind of a big deal, I feel like, they're still today. Where like your friend comes to you and goes, oh, I got this guy. And like you need to meet him.
Yeah.
But you've never met him. You have no idea. There's no picture of him. His name's John.
Well, I was dating someone whenever I met Sam, and I thought we were going to get married, and he just started college, and his dad told him.
So you cheated on your boyfriend?
No, when I met
I'm
Sam.
I'm kidding.
But let me tell you what this guy tells me. He calls me and says, "Listen, Cindy, I think we need to see other people."
I always like that. I always like
what?
that statement when someone says "see other people" because it could go both ways. It's like you mean you still want to see me, but you want to see other people,
right?
or you. That's basically when someone tells me that, I'm like, okay, so does that mean you're still talking to me, or does that mean
Yeah, is it over or what? No, but he said he wanted his college ring back because his dad said he couldn't give that away or let me have it or anything like that. So
why would you want to keep that?
it was like you wore it around a chain.
That's what's so weird.
That's what
that kind of idea.
that time.
But yeah, but why did you consider keeping it? Where you're like, no, let me keep it.
No, it's his ring, but he gave it to me, and that's kind of like when they would pin you with their, some pin they
Letter
had.
jacket or whatever.
Yeah,
I get you.
they'd pin you, and when you were, that was like you were engaged. So I thought of it as we were engaged, and
Clearly,
and then
he did not think of it that way.
or his dad did not want us to be that serious, and so he didn't want us
Let's
to
clarify.
think
How
that
old
way.
were you?
I was 18. 18, yeah. And so going on 19. But I was, anyway, so we dated, and we had dated since we were 13 years old. I mean, we liked each other off and on. But there's a lot of times
Why do we want to date people, other people? Is that more of an age thing where he's like, I'm going to college. I should have fun.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. But he said, I think we should date other people. And I went, okay, no problem. So I gave him the ring back, and I was working at the telephone company. And
Southwestern Bell, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And so we were
you
we were
mail it to
going
'em?
out to a club. My friends and I were going to a club, and it was called DiMaggio's. It was a restaurant club, and this guy would come in, and he would have a different suit on. Like every time we saw him,
That's
They
cool.
went, "There's that guy. There's that guy. Look at him." And one of the girls that were there really thought he was good looking, and they wanted to meet him. But then he got up and started singing and playing. He played the guitar
about
and
Sam,
sang.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
singing, and he was really good. And
Okay.
he'd make people beg for him. He'd make them applaud and applaud. And
So you
he'd just keep going on.
valued Sam because other people wanted him.
No, I was
That's
just,
what I'm
no,
hearing.
No, it's because this girl just kept pointing him out, and so the guy that I was dating, and I got up and sang at this club.
Okay.
And so when I came over he was sitting at the bar, and I said, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "Well, you have no stage presence." That's when he told me I had no stage presence, and
Well, you learned that. You learned from that.
no, he
Right.
said you have it or you don't have it. He said you have it or you just don't have it, but you don't have that. You don't have stage presence. And I went, okay, well, thanks a lot. And I had to go look up what stage presence meant, and
In the encyclopedia that you had at the house,
yeah, those books that
you had to go to the library. You had to go to the library. You're like,
yeah, you couldn't call Google or Google
Yeah.
it or anything like that. So, but anyway, and he kept, I kept seeing him because Charlie Cash was his best friend, and so Charlie and I were good friends, and so he invited him to come over to a recording session, and he said, I said, "What do you think of the song? Do you think I should be doing the song?" And he goes, I don't know. You know what I think." And I went, "Okay." And it was like, I thought, so rude, because he didn't say, "Oh, you're fabulous. You're just,"
he's being honest.
yeah, he was very honest. And so anyway, that was how we met. And then he said, "I'm gonna walk you out to your car." And I said, "At the club one night." And so he walked me out the car, and he said, "Would you marry me when you grow up?" And I went,
I like this guy already.
I didn't understand that proposal at all. And I said, "When I grow up,"
But you had the ring around your neck, right? At this time.
no, I'd already given the ring back.
Okay, so that's over.
Yeah, that was
John's over. He's gone.
well. So he calls me I'm at the telephone company, and he knew I was on break. He calls me and says, "What are you doing?" And he goes, I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Are you dating somebody?" And I went, "Sure. Yeah, in fact, we're going to get married." He goes, "You're what? What? I just said we need to see other people. I didn't mean you'd get married. What do you mean you're getting married?" And he was so upset. And he was getting drunk and calling me. And
See, I've never done that.
even after I'd gotten married, he was calling me. And it was so sad. I hated that, because I didn't want
Well,
to
you
hurt
didn't
his
even like him.
feelings.
You just like the attention.
No,
Yeah, we
no.
know who you are, Cindy.
That was a lot of history we had. and
You're that failed actress, no stage presence, but you just want to be the star still. We know.
How do you know me so well, Richard?
I just know you.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't know me. No. So, but I think that
But blind
In the
dates,
dating-
basically, blind dates are like the still consistent thing today. People go on and
blind
meet
dates.
at blind dates all
that's
the time.
scary, though. I mean,
I went on a blind
doing-
date and it was great, but then I found out she didn't like my humor.
Oh,
She thought I was making fun of her the whole time. I was like, I got the phone
I
call.
can't imagine.
I get a phone call from the girl who set us up, and this girl was very attractive, like she was an accountant. We got along. I mean, like what weirded me out about this was it's one of those things where she emails me and says like, "Hey, this is where I live." So I put together like options for her to like, okay, these are what I'm thinking around Houston, and she goes, "Let's do all three." And I was like, well, I don't want to do all three. That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of money.
Well, no, money, that didn't bother me, but it's like, but it's still a lot. Like, that's a whole day.
Yeah.
I thought we were just going to go get coffee. that kind of thing, or go get lunch, or
Get coffee.
something.
Right.
But we ended up spending the whole day together doing all these things. And then the next day, the girl who hooked us up, she's like, "What did you say to her?" I'm like, "I don't know. I had a great time. We're just, laughing, sharing each other's stories and blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Well, she came home and she was crying and she said that you made fun of her clothes and did all this stuff."
Richard.
And I'm like, "Oh, so I guess that's why she's not returning my phone calls." Oh, I loved it.
Richard.
And, no,
Well, she's that sensitive.
Well, no, I was like, and I'm thinking how confusing that is to me, because we spent the whole day together. Like, we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together the whole day.
Goodness.
And I'm like, so after one point, she wasn't happy. She could have left, but she didn't. And
Well, she didn't have her own car. She was with you, and you were driving.
well,
right?
she could have gotten a taxi, or she could have said, "Hey, I gotta go," because that's a thing, right? Like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." And you don't really go to the bathroom; you just desert.
You just leave. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time. And this is the day of cell phones, so that she could have called her friend or texted her or something.
True. Yeah.
So I'm like, that was really confusing to me. I was like, okay,
But it
the
hasn't
blind date was great, though. I had a great blind date. It was.
But did you hear Bob Smiley talk about that 15-minute dating thing you go through?
The speed dating.
Yeah, speed dating.
Yeah.
You don't have much time with each one, and how that was to have him describe that was so hilarious. And so you went on a dating app, right?
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was Hinge.
Hinge.
Oh yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
That's really
But it was hilarious, because a buddy basically said, "Hey, why are you looking at your phone? I'm talking to you."
Well, because I wanted to look up a dating app. I wanted to see
Okay.
what.
Oh, Sam, better watch out. Well, no, it's funny. Before I say this, I was listening to a podcast about, that there's some statistic that since social media was introduced in society, there's like every woman and man has like a 70% chance of cheating on their wives or husbands or girlfriends,
Wow.
because how fastly you can reconnect with people on social media.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
There's some crazy conversion rate, and how it's basically, this guy was basically saying like it's going to destroy marriage, because it's so easy for people to go on Instagram
and find old flames
Yeah.
and find old.
Well, I mean, that's what happened to me.
girlfriends.
That's how I found out she was seeing somebody they reconnected on social media, and I'm like, God dang it, man, social media.
What's so weird
But
is that how could she think that could be hidden in any way?
I'm never that kind of person. I trust people.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to look at your phone, or I'm like, I don't care about that stuff, because to me, it's always be honest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to talk to another guy, tell me, and then I'll be like, see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Hinge thing was funny to me, because we talk about artificial intelligence and we do all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there getting on this app, and you set some parameters, but it's limited, because each dating app has like a niche, or like a system where it tries to pair you up with somebody, right? And they also want to make money.
Right.
So they have to there's free, and then there's you can nickel and dime this guy because they need more roses or more likes or whatever. You're limited if you're doing it for free. And I noticed using it, it was it's like this program is designed to lead you on, because it wants you to purchase stuff.
Ah.
So, for example, the free views, you're getting all types of women. And it's not your interests. So they don't let you say oh, I only want women age whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they send you a thing every week, or every day or every week. I forgot what it was. But it's what you like. But you have to spend money to send them, contact them.
Well,
So the free ones are the undesirables, and then and I was like, they got me. I'm not spending money on this stuff though, because I wasn't really looking to date anybody. I just wanted to see what was going on in the dating world, and that's how you check.
So you don't get to just go through and peruse and see the different girls.
Well, you can sit there all day and do that, but it's I feel like the AI or the software is not going to give you people who you are looking for.
Until you.
because unless they give you a separate section of suggested, but to
Okay.
contact them, you have to spend money to give them roses or give them likes or whatever. So you can't. There's no way of
no.
contacting these people that they know you want to talk to. And I'm like, these gatekeeping bastards.
That's wow, complicated.
Oh yeah, no, it's hilarious. And I was sitting there going like, well, that's what you get for dating online, I guess. But it's funny to me that people are serial online daters because they know how to like write the greatest profile. Because like I even seen people say like, hey, I'm a photographer. I'll do your dating app profile pictures
Oh,
for like a
okay.
package. I
Yeah.
was like, are you serious? Like, what's that supposed to mean? And but yeah, it's always funny where you judge people on the photos, and that's how you put the billboard up. And you're like, let's hope this works, right? Because I didn't really put a lot of thought into mine. I had fun with it because it makes you fill out prompts and stuff. But I was just trying to see what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
like what ladies are available right now. And then, but yeah, so out of the whole experiment, I've decided what I want to do starting in 2024. My New Year's resolution is just make as much money as possible and date like a 24-year-old. And then I'll be okay with that.
And date a 24-year-old.
Yeah, 24-year-old.
Why?
Because she's fertile.
Oh my word, Richard.
I'm kidding. But kind of kidding. That would be awesome.
No,
Because also, I always like about it too, because I would be that sleazeball guy
yeah,
where it's like you go hang out with your friends, like, look at my wife.
yeah.
Just look at her.
trophy
Everybody
wife.
just look at her.
You would go for a trophy wife, huh?
If I had a lot of money, yeah. It'd be a lot easier for me. I don't have to deal with the crap.
There you go. There you go.
But you got to deal with a lot of crap when you're dating people and like being
Yeah,
married. Like,
but-
it's just kind of like,
But you know what it says? If you want to have a happy life, make an ugly woman your wife. That song. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard that song? Okay. So, do you think maybe that there's some wisdom in that? Like, if you don't get somebody really
well,
attractive.
not really, because I don't judge people on their looks, because that's why I was kidding about the trophy wife. I'm more of a person who likes just to talk. And if I don't talk to you, that means I don't like you.
Okay.
I don't find you attractive.
Okay. That's good to be on talk shows,
Yeah.
to have your own radio station and you can just talk about anything you want to. But you don't talk about your personal life at all,
No.
do you? Now, see, I'm just an open
I mean,
book.
to my friends, I do.
I say all these things to you that, make me look bad and all because it's interesting. People like to hear, oh, good, I'm not as bad as I think I am because listen to what she did. Or
You
that
can't
kind of
really
thing.
compare. I don't know. I think that's the wrong way of looking at it. It's
Oh.
like, oh, that person did heroin and went to jail for 20 years. At least I'm not doing that. I'm better
Yeah.
than him.
Yeah, but I'm
That's not
interested to hear.
fair.
I'm interested to hear what he did in jail and what how he got
How many
there and
boyfriends
all
he
that.
had?
and how many
How many
boyfriends-
roses he got?
Yeah, how many roses he got. Do people when they're in jail can they get on that app?
I don't. That'd be great. I don't know. Like the app thing is hilarious to me though, because it's like what I love about it too is society puts the apps in different categories. Because I had this conversation with my buddies, because one person's like, "Oh, making a joke, you should get on Christian Mingle," and I think that's a thing still. I don't
Yes,
know.
it is. It's
and I'm thinking,
Christian
I'm like,
Mingle.
why are you knocking that? Like think about the Jewish people. They have their like, they're strict about who they can marry. Some of the families are. I'm like,
Right.
thank goodness for that, right? Like that's people go sign up for that because they're literally looking for other Jewish people. Like
Yeah, because imagine a while back.
I don't know if
the
they let,
dad had
they
to
let
find
Gentiles
one.
on there. I'll get on there.
How would you like to be
I'm a Gentile.
betrothed
Oh,
to somebody?
I'm
you
a
know, like,
Gentile. That'd be great. Like the opening line.
what?
That's what if I could get on the Jewish app, I'd be like, I'm a Gentile. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the bad boy. I'm the guy you want to like hang out with before you find your Jewish husband.
Right. You need to compare us. But do you feel like that the dating thing is
Well,
it's gotten so easy now because
Well, yeah,
a long time
I think,
ago.
Well, that's what freaks me out about those dating apps is like you go out on a date, and then in my mind I'm like, well, I literally could cycle through 100 girls in a day and make 50 dates, and so now I have 50 dates. You can't do all that at once. So the date I'm on, I got a date tomorrow, I got a date Saturday, to me, that's weird. That weirds me out. So I'm like, I'm not going to deal with people like that because that's on their mind.
Yeah, right.
And it's like first impressions are important, but I also like to meet people spontaneously.
Right.
Because that's like that girl that came here. I asked her immediately out because I was like, I like this girl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I was like, hey, what are you doing after the show? And she's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, let's go down, walk down the street.
And how'd that work out?
Let's work it out. I mean, like we're friends.
You are not. You don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
You still talk to her?
I'm an adult, Cindy. I can be friends with people like like it's not that big of a deal because I'm clearly not. I don't want to get in a relationship, and I just wanted I just thought she was very pretty and smart, and I wanted to be like, what's going on with you? Tell me about it. Mm-hmm. So.
And the more interested you seem in her, then that would give her, feelings like you really do like me and you want.
Well, no, she identified it, and I was like, yeah, I just want to hang out, and she's like, yeah, me too, and she didn't want to date anybody.
But do you believe that ever is going to work out?
No, I mean,
movie...
I think it's one of those things that as long as you be the best version of yourself, no matter who you're talking to, eventually it will work itself out. Because I mean, I've had friends. And especially women, like I went through high school with and college with, 5 years after college, there was one girl who said, like, I should have gone on that date with you. And I'm like, okay, too bad. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
Well,
and she's,
what?
But I mean, I think if you just continue being yourself, it'll work itself out.
Yeah, that movie that When Harry Met Sally or something like that. And he said, it's impossible for a man to be friends with a woman. It's just wrong.
Well, see, I think
it can't work.
When you say friends, it's really hard for the outside people to understand the friendship, if that makes sense. Because, like for example, that girl, we're acquaintances. It's not like I'm talking to her every day. Mm-hmm. Like we'll reach out if there's like some networking thing or whatever. I'm helping this specific girl with her business. With some of the podcasting audio stuff, they're building a little studio. So I helped them with that, or I'm helping them with that. But it's not like I'm just saying, "Hey, what are you doing Friday night?" Because I don't think that was going to happen. So,
well, I guess it's kind of like organic dating, or you're just going to meet naturally. You're not going to be. You don't go on a dating app.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to make a lot of money, and then I'm going to hang out in high schools, lay the groundwork, so when they come back after college.
See, it used to be you'd go tell your friend that you like this guy, and you'd want them.
Yeah, can you go tell him?
They would go tell him, and then they have to come back with a.
No, I've always been the kind of guy who goes up and just says, "What are you doing? What are you doing right now?" That's always been
your
me.
Opening line.
No, like if I know if I'm attracted to somebody, I'll go talk to them. Mm. Like I'm not gonna, try to figure it all out. It's like if I like you, I want to get to know you more right now. I'm gonna ask you out. Yeah. So.
Well, I feel so sorry for anybody that's trying to date, right now and trying.
Well, I encourage.
I think.
If people are trying
to,
if you're dating somebody, I think I encourage people, like especially in my scenario, I don't really want to date anybody because I want to work on other stuff like the studio and bowling,
right?
And having fun, and just like I really don't want that pressure of creating an environment with an individual where people are dependent on that.
But that makes you more attractive to women. Women are crazy because the more they think of you being someone that's you're really too busy to do stuff with them and. You got to work them into your schedule, then they think that's like I'm going after him because like you're hard to get.
My dad, after the whole divorce thing, my dad gave me a great piece of advice. He's like, "You're one of those guys that your business is a lifestyle business, and if the girl doesn't understand that, then they're in trouble day one." Right. Like you're going to be doing events, you're going to be working all the time. You're never going to be. You don't clock in, clock out. Mm-hmm. There's none of that going on, and unfortunately for me, the lady who I was with, I think she wanted that lifestyle of clock in, clock out, and then that way we have our time. I'm like, that's not going to work for me.
It's been like more normal, but you got to watch out for somebody that is wanting the fact that you have radio programs and you
Which-
own a radio
which-
station,
Which I
that
want to
you would want-
inform listeners, if you want to start your own show, reach out to us. lscrstudios@gmail.com.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And we want to thank Wootton Financial for supporting this program, the Cindy Cochran Show, for all your financial needs or financial planning needs. WoottonFinancial.com.
Well, I just can't think of a better time
Oh,
to take a break.
No, we got to go here in a second. But I wanted to tell you. So I visited my grandmother this weekend, and I told her, because it's been a while since the divorce. It's been a good several months, and I never told my grandmother.
What?
Yeah, I never told. I was like, I think I'm just gonna let her die. I'm not gonna tell her.
Just thinking, oh,
because she's one of those grandmothers who gets disappointed when life things happen,
Right.
And so it's like, I'm sitting there hanging out with her, and I tell her, I was like, hey, just to let you know, this lady's not gonna be around for anymore, and da 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 da. And she, I kid you not, she immediately just starts talking about. She gets, huh? So you're never gonna see her again. I'm like, yeah. Okay. Well, did I tell you about bingo the other day? And I was just like, oh, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought.
Oh,
and then because she's not worried about that stuff anymore. She's like,
right.
so.
She's probably
all she cared about when she
Stories.
tells all my aunts and uncles and dad and mom is the fact that I brought her a fresh brownie.
That was what all she
I
was
got so many
interested.
texts about that. It's like, thank you for bringing her a fresh brownie. I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
that's good. That really does sound like your grandma, because she was so practical and had so much to say. She's just a smart lady, a lot of wisdom, and so she probably thought that was the best thing for you. That's
Well, I think it's more
how
of
it should happen.
I don't know if it's more of the best thing. I think it's like it happened. What's next?
It's done.
Because
Yeah,
it's done. Like
over.
it's done.
See, that's
So-
how. If you ever got that attitude, you will eventually have that attitude, and you'll look back and go, "I can't believe I gave any time to worrying about stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
over, done, move on. Let it
Well,
go."
it kind of it's funny how you have perceptions of what, like, basically it's kind of like what marriages or what relationships are, what friendships are. Everything gets kind of tested when you have these big momental events. Like when you have a kid, that change. I bet that is one of the craziest struggles. Not just raising
Right.
a child, but like your relations with your friends, your mother, your mother-in-law.
Sure.
All these things get shaken with that kind of stuff. A death in the family. Like I remember, I was thinking to myself when my grandfather died, and I was like, if my grandmother died, I'm never going to see my cousins again. Because that was like the
That was the
glue.
conduit, yeah.
And I'm like, how do I work my way around this one? And, see my cousins more and like try to develop those relationships. And, but yeah, that's one of those first feelings. I was like, oh, this is a test. This is what I got to figure out.
Yeah. And when everybody gets older, like us, me and Sam, as we get older, and how the family, we've been very fortunate because our family has always been around us. They're right there.
We got to go, Cindy.
And so we've been very lucky. And I love you, Sam. I'm sorry I said that today or got mad today. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to us. Y'all have a great tomorrow. And
You're not going to be here.
no, I was just saying have a great tomorrow.
We got to let people know you're not going to be here.
I won't be here, but I'll be here.
Yeah, she's got to drop off her drugs to her
Yeah.
smuggler
I'm getting an MRI. What does
on
that
your
stand
on your
for?
head. Got to make sure this Alzheimer's isn't kicking.
We'll find out. I hope I remember to go. That's the thing. I hope I remember to go to the appointment. Okay, so anyway, I want to say to our first responders, thank you so much for being so brave. We love you. We love you. Appreciate all of you. And all the first responders. We do. We appreciate you. Thank you again for watching. And tomorrow, watch, because Richard will pick a dynamite show.
No,
Yeah,
it'll be today's show.
it'll be today's show.
Yeah, it was Dynamite.
Oh, okay. It'll be today's
We need
show.
to get going.
Because
so-
you may have missed it. All right. Thank you. Thank Chris Wootton. Thank the Wootton Financial Group. Thank you for being our sponsor. We love you.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.